Recording. Hare Krishna, thanks all for joining. As we are in this class, weekly class, we already covered the foundational topic. Then we covered like a 4 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. We completed. Then now we are in the 5th chapter. So very quick summary of like what been covered till now. So chapter 1, which is called observing the armies in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Pandavas and Kauravas armies being assembled, and Arjuna giving like a 5 reasons not to fight. Uh, then Krishna is influencing him to fight. Like these 5 reasons are, he's having compassion on the bodily platform, and he thinks that okay, the enjoyment, whatever he's going to get, like he's not going to enjoy with it. Okay, and he is fearful of sinful reaction, and he's feeling like a destruction of the family tradition will happen if he fought the war, and he's unable to take any decision. So that indecision led him to surrender to Krishna, because till now he was considering Krishna as his friend, and now he's considering him as a disciple, and he's surrendering. Like the turning point of the Bhagavad Gita, which is Karpanya Dosho Pagada Subhava. So that sloka, like okay, till now Krishna listens whatever Arjuna says. Okay. In the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is called Contents of the Gita Summarized, where initially, Krishna is talking about the Sankhya philosophy, which is nothing but like the difference between body and soul, the matter and spirit. So he's talking about the 30 characteristics of the soul. Soul is imperishable, okay, eternal. It can't be like a submerged in the water. It can't be like a put into the fire, etc. All those 30 characteristics, like a please go through. And the size of the soul also we have seen. Anyone can say like what is the size of the soul?
Prabhu, 1000 part of the tip of the hair.
Yeah, yeah. So
One ten
that
thousand.
that is very, 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 very minute, correct? Like that is very small in size, and it is very minute in size. Like it is, it can be felt with the consciousness. So then he's talking about the karma kanda. As a kshatriya, you have to fight. Your duty is to fight. So just to fight, okay. So Arjuna was asking like, I may okay to I mean, okay to uh, get away from this, like, okay, war field, and I can go to the forest and begging. So Krishna is like, okay, commenting, that is not good, because your duty is to fight as a Kshatriya, so to protect the Dharma, so please fight. If you fight, you will get, if you win, you will get a earthly kingdom. If you lose, you will get the heavenly kingdom. So fight. Then he's saying, like, a do the Nishkama Karma Yoga. Fight whatever results you are getting, like a surrender to me. Uh, by doing that, like you will get 2 things. One is you will not have any sinful reaction, and you don't need to take birth in this material world again. Okay. Then Arjuna is asking symptoms of the self-realized rule. The Sthita Prajna, how they speak, how they sit, how they walk, like okay, how they carry themselves in the society. So then Krishna is responding all those things, like they'll not be disturbed by like okay, the good or evil, or the profit or loss, good and bad, like all those things they will treat it in a similar manner. Then Krishna says, okay, nasti buddhi ayuktasya, where if you are not connected to Krishna consciousness or the devotion service, then we can't have the steady mind. If we can't have the steady mind, then we can't have the peace. uh, if no peace, then like a no happiness at all. So that is how, if we all want to have like a the peace and happiness in our life, correct? Then we have to connect to the devotional service. Then the chapter 3 starts with like a Arjuna asking again question, okay, why you are engaging me in this ghastly warfare? If he thinks that like a renunciation of the work, it is not renunciation of the work, it is renunciation in the work. The similar question will be asked by Arjuna in 5th chapter again. Krishna, if you think a renunciation of the work is better than fruitive activities, why you are engaging me like in this warfare? Then Krishna says, I am not asking you to do the renunciation of the work. It is not sannyasa of the work. It is sannyasa in the work. Like you have to do the duty. Whatever results you are getting, like a do that tyaga, that renunciation, not the work itself. Like I am not asking to renunciate. Then he says, okay, in the third chapter, the Janaka Maharaj, like he set the right example for the future generation. Then Krishna himself, like he doesn't need to do carry any activity, but he does all the activity in a perfect manner, including like a surrendering to a guru. He went to the Gurukul to learn all the arts, okay, because he is the universal master and he is the source of all sources. But still, while he came as Krishna, like in this material world, he goes to the Gurukul and he surrenders to a guru and he learns like all the things. So that has to be there. So that is how he says. Then he says like the purpose of Bhagavad Gita in the 3.30th sloka, uh, my sarvani karmani. So 2.7, karpanya. So Arjuna is asking like, please guide me. What is best for me? Then for that, Krishna is answering in the 3.30, which is without lethargy, without any self motive, like a please stand up and fight. My sarvani karmani sanyas adhyatma chetasga nirasir nirmamo bhutva yuddhayasa vigadajvara. Okay, so likewise, like okay, by doing that you will have like a free from bondage and you will attain perfection. Then Arjuna has a query, what is leading us like to do all the sinful action? Then he says like, okay, Krishna says it is lust only, Arjuna. Then he connects with the lust, anger and greed. So if unfulfilled lust will lead into anger, fulfilled lust will lead into greed. Okay, so these three things like okay are the gateways to hell, so we need to get away from there. Then third chapter name is Karma Yoga. Fourth chapter name is like a transcendental knowledge. Krishna says, okay, this transcendental knowledge I pass to sun god Vivaswan, from Vivaswan to Manu, like a Keshwaku. Through the disciplic succession, like the knowledge was passed, but somehow like the knowledge when it is broken, I am coming to re-establish the religious practice and to protect the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. So that is how he he authoritatively like he says that this transcendental knowledge been passed. Then Arjuna has a query like a sun god was very old. You are talking to me, how I can understand? Then Krishna says, okay, all these things, whatever happened in the past, present, and the future, you know only the current life, like only yours, and only the current life. But I know what happened in the past, what is happening in the current, like what will happen in the future for all the living entities. So, like that is how Krishna is authoritatively like establishing his position. And the 4.9, which is one of the favorite sloka, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. So if you want to get away from this material world, just think about Lord's appearance and pastime. That's all. Like, okay, we just need to hear that. If we hear that, like, we will get back to the spiritual world by default. There is no doubt on that. Then how Krishna creates the Varnashrama Dharma, Varna and Ashrama, like okay, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Sudra, Vaishya. Then how he connects like Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. For each of them, like what is the what is the sacrifice like okay preferred or prescribed? Okay, that is like okay explained in the fourth chapter. Then Krishna explains like the intricacy of action. So how that a sacrifice will lead into each one of like okay each one of them to the perfect path. Then on the last two slokas of fourth chapter, he is telling like how with the jnana we can all achieve the we can all achieve the transcendental position like by doing that activity with the knowledge we will be able to go back to the spiritual world. That is nothing but like okay the devotional service. So he authoritatively like mentioning that. Then the fifth chapter, karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So we can see many of the relevance from third and fourth chapter to the fifth chapter again. Here Krishna authoritatively explaining by using the jnana, how we can attain the perfection, how we can do the devotional service. That is what like I've been explaining. Again, the same fifth chapter in the starting, like he will ask again, why, which is better, renunciation of the work or renunciation in the work? Okay. So then Krishna says very clearly, like it is renunciation of the work, not the renunciation of the work, it is renunciation in the work. And Arjuna confused, like got confused, work in devotion or renunciation of the work. Then Krishna says, like it is not renunciation of the work, it is renunciation in the work. And better than that, like okay, doing both will give the same result, but it is easier to perform is like a devotion service. Because you don't need to do the renunciation as an external activity. Okay. It is not the renunciation, what to say, it is, you don't need to explicitly renunciate anything. So by default, like, okay, whatever we are doing, just to connect with Krishna and remember Krishna. By doing that, it becomes the devotional activity. So that is how he is mentioning, like, with knowledge, how we can do this devotional service. So we have covered till sixth sloka. So the six slokas were talking about how that Nishkama Karma Yoga is equal but easier to performing the renunciation of the work. Okay, that is what we have seen till now. So let's dive into 5.7. Till now, any doubt, Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna. The 5.7 sloka. योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजिदात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते. One who works in devotion, who is pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. So it is very easy, correct? Like, okay, one who works in devotion. So we have to perform all our prescribed activities, prescribed duties. The soul is always pure, correct? And we have to control our mind and senses. If we do that particular thing, then we are dear to everyone, and everyone would be like a dear to us also. Okay, though always working, though we may seem to work in the similar way as a materialistic, but still there are a lot of difference. We can take an example, correct? Like we are also going to office to do the activity. We are also taking care of the family, etc., etc. The same way, materialistic also, like okay, doing all these things. But there are hell out of difference, correct? We do by remembering Krishna and activity for Krishna. But the materialistic, like will do it for themselves, for their own sense enjoyment, their own sense pleasure. Couple of example we can take. We also eat food to keep ourselves fit, correct? The same way, materialistic also, like okay, they also will eat food. We eat food which is offered to Krishna and take it as a prasadam, so that all the sins will be removed. Like if we are offering to Krishna, we take the sattvic food, correct? We don't take like onion, garlic, so not so spicy food, very not so the punji food also, like okay, it is fresh, which is offered to Krishna, which has to be like consumed within a certain period of time. But the same time, like the materialistic, they may cook the food for their own sense pleasure. They may take like all the non-veg and other permittable, sorry, non-permittable food, correct? So this is the difference. The same way, like we also hear the music, we hear the kirtan, we go to the satsang like to hear the pastimes of Lord and the devotees. Many materialistic like will hear the mundane movie musics, okay, and they will hear some unnecessary like things. Huh? So those are the differences, like okay, because we are able to control our mind and senses. That is, we are not like okay externally controlling by just having the attachment or a desire to please Krishna and his devotees. We are getting deviated. Like we don't need to specifically control, specifically put our effort to control. Okay, okay, I need to control my mind today. Let me control. Let me not have any interest to serve my senses. We are not doing like that. We are doing by having the desire to serve Krishna, by developing the desire to serve Krishna. That is what like is the difference. Because our mind and senses controlling is very very tough. Who says? Arjuna, who hit the who is the greatest of archer, who is able to aim very the target like a which is very very far. He can aim like a very very perfectly to hit the target. He says sanchalam ki managa krishna pramati balavatkridam tasyaham nigraham manne vayuriva swaduskaram. Okay, he says it is very very easy to control the wind. We all know wind is coming at what speed. Arjuna says I am able to control the wind, but I am unable to control the mind. Okay. If it is for Arjuna, this case, then what to speak of us in this Kali Yuga, correct? It is very, very tough to control the mind and senses. But at the same time, if we are able to connect to the Krishna consciousness, if we are able to perform the devotional service, then it is very, 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 very easy. We can take one example, such as someone calling, okay, we committed to attend Damodar Arti or like any one Bhagavad Gita, Vriksha class or like any one class. At the same time, someone comes and says, okay, come, we will go to the movie. Let us go and enjoy that movie. Our mind will not allow, okay, if we are firm in Krishna consciousness, that Vivasaya Atmika Buddhi here, correct? In the second chapter, it comes. Huh? Yeah, yeah. So at that time, we give the preference to go to the spiritual class, correct? Like the Bhakti Vriksha class or Bhakti Vriksha class or Bhagavad Gita class. So we give that priority to that particular activity, correct? A devotional activity. So that is what, like, okay, that is nothing but we are controlling our mind and senses unknowingly or um by default, okay, without putting any extra effort. So that is what it says here. So one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Okay? So he may seems to be like a working as a normal, as a materialist, but he is doing much, much uh, uh, he does the work much different in a different way like compared to the materialistic. 5.8 and 9. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shranvan sparsan grahan, sorry, jigrahan asnan gachan swapan swasan paralapan vrishan grahnan उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्. A person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with objects and that he is aloof from them. We all know we are not the body, we are the soul, correct? So that is what, whatever we are doing, like seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, everything like the material senses are engaged by themselves, but actually, like we are not the material senses, we are not the body, we are the soul. We are aloof from all these activities, all these senses. This how we can receive, how we can understand, only and only if we are connected to Krishna consciousness. Because in the second chapter, while Krishna says about the Sankhya Yoga, correct? When he explains the Sankhya Yoga, he says, why you are saying, because Arjuna was giving like he is having the compassion to the bodily platform. That is the reason he is like not accepting to fight, correct? So at the time, Krishna says, no, 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 you are not the body, you are the soul. Understand that first, okay? That is what Krishna says in the starting of the Bhagavad Gita. He didn't talk about even karma yoga, karma jnana, like okay, karma kanda. No, he first talks Sankhya Yoga. The Sankhya Yoga is very, very important. First, we need to understand who we are. Who am I? If we understand that who am I, then we can do all the activities in a perfect manner. So that is what he says. While engaging all these things, like we may engage all these things in the senses, but it is it is doing like its own activity. We are not doing, because everything being done by the Lord. Any one day, recently, like I got an injury, like a knee injury. So at the time, we can realize the importance of the legs. Many a times, like okay, while we are functioning normally, we may not know the importance of each of the organs in our body. When we go through some difficult situation, we understand how, oh my goodness, like Krishna, how is it possible? Uh, for you to take care of me like in a very perfect manner. So that has to be understood, and we have to show our gratitude to Krishna each and every day. That has to be our way of like showing gratitude to Krishna. Because any one day, are we realizing like, okay, if there is no oxygen, how we can breathe? During the time of COVID, many of us experienced that, correct? Like, what is the importance of the oxygen, correct? In Gujarat and many other places, uh, our people are like, okay, struggling to find the oxygen cylinder, correct? So, in that reference, we will take one pastime. So, one of the one of the guy like okay who was functioning like a till the age of 80, he was okay completely. Then at the then he got sick, he fell sick, like he got a heart attack, and he got admitted to a hospital. And the bypass surgery was done, and he got cured, like okay, he was about to get discharged. So at that time, the doctor shown the bill. Okay, it was around 8 lakhs you have to pay to get discharged from the hospital. Then he was smiling, and he was trying to recollect something. Then immediately doctor was questioning like, "Hey, what happened? Why you are smiling?" Then the person responding, see, just for a day or two, I got admitted into this hospital. You took care of me and you cured. For that, you are showing me the bill of like 8 lakhs. Then Krishna took care of me for this 80 plus years, and he's going to take care of me like for some more time. How much he has to show me the bill? Correct, like how much I should have paid him for taking care of me, but without expecting anything, without showing any bias, like okay, Krishna giving each and every of the thing like to every living entity, whether you connected to devotion service or whether you are atheist, still you get the air to breathe, you get the water to drink, you get the place to stay, you get the clothes to wear, like you get the food to eat. But we are not understanding all these things. So, okay, every day while we wake up, we have to show the gratitude to Krishna. He doesn't expect anything from us. He just expecting like a the love and devotion and gratitude. That is what Krishna is expecting in every one of us. Okay, hope the story gives like okay, some deep point to realize. So Krishna taking care of us like each and every day. If our knee got injured, we have to go and struggle to even walk. If we don't have the eyes, then we can't see this world, we can't see Krishna and his devotees. If we have like some issues in our stomach or like in our mouth ulcer or something, like we can't eat properly, we can't get the energy, correct? If we have like some issues with our ears, we can't hear properly, we can't hear the Krishna Katha. So likewise, each and every body parts, okay, it is functioning very, very perfectly, and we are not realizing that. We have to realize that each and every day, and we have to show the gratitude to Krishna. Anyone know like what is the best of the camera designed in this particular world? Our eyes are the best of the camera because it can capture so many colors in a very, very short span of time. That is a very, very powerful camera. But how many time we are realizing that? While we are in good condition, good healthy condition, we have to remember all those things and we have to thank Krishna, not at the fag end of our life. Okay, not when we are in bedridden, we shouldn't think that okay, oh Krishna, I wasted my entire life by not showing the gratitude to you or not doing any part of like a devotion service. Now I want to do, but I am not having the good health. So that shouldn't be our thinking. We always need to think, please, I am in good health condition. Let me do the devotion service now, not at the later stage. So hope everyone able to understand this because this is very, very important realization which we have to carry each and every day of our life. If we show the gratitude, Krishna will give us whatever needed and whatever more than whatever needed. So that is what like okay have to be our motive. Please like try to show the gratitude to Krishna and his devotees. In that way, we can do the devotion service in a very, very perfect manner. Any realization? Like I just want to hear from all of you, because I don't know. I'm talking like a mono way. Okay, please show your realization. Like are you able to feel the presence of Krishna in every one of your life? And please show the gratitude to Krishna and his devotees. Any realization? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, you said rightly. When the things goes right, then we don't remember Krishna. Earlier, actually. Nowadays, after coming to devotional life, actually, we are remembering Krishna, and we can feel His presence. We because we are offering prasadam, we are seeing Him, and like we are talking to Him sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if we wish something, Prabhuji, we just talk to God, Krishna, like, please give this, they give that. Other than that, also we feel sometime like he is our friend or he is something, someone we need every day, some
Yeah.
power we need every day.
That is
Also, Prabhu, if the
Udmade.
things
Yeah.
does not get fulfilled, then we think that okay, maybe the Krishna does not want means he don't want to get means indulge in this, so that's why maybe he's not giving. So we are not that much, like greedy.
Yeah, correct, Prabhu. Very, very good. Okay, very good. Okay. Good realization. Yeah. When things are happening good, okay, we have to think it is due to Krishna's mercy. When things are not going good, also, like we have to think it is Krishna's mercy because the situation might be worse than this, but Krishna intervened and like he ensured that the things are taken care properly. So very good, Prabhu. Very good. Yeah. Hmm. Then anyone else like you want to mention? Okay, fine. Okay. So please like have this attitude of showing the gratitude to Krishna. Um, so that is important thing. The next sloka, Brahmani आदाय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बश. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. So here the uh, reference being given. So we have to do our duty. In this we have seen it in second chapter also, correct? One who performs his duty without any attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord. Okay, they will not get any sinful reaction. They don't need to take birth in this material world again. So this is what I was mentioning in the second chapter also. So here in the fifth chapter also, like Krishna says again. So we have to do activity without any attachment and surrendering the results to the Lord. Then we will not get any sinful reaction and we will not get birth in this material world again. As if like a lotus leaf is untouched by water. The lotus, it comes in like a muddy water, correct? Though it comes from the muddy water, the lotus is like a not uh, affected. It is unaffected by the water and that muddy situation. The similar way, though we are in this material world, the material world is like a dukale mashashwatam. It is muddy place, correct? Though this is we are in this muddy place, very contaminated place, but if we are doing the devotion service, we can be as good as this lotus leaf. Like that is what we have to understand. Hare Krishna. Let's see till what? 12th sloka. Okay. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मा शुद्धये. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, and intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. The yogi is like, okay, what is a yoga? What is the meaning of yoga?
Prabhu, addition means connection with God.
Yoni. Yoni. Yoni.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Sorry, I missed it. Huh. What's the meaning of yoga?
Yoni.
Yoga means Prabhu, addition means connection with God.
Yeah,
Connection with
connection with the
Krishna.
Supreme. Okay. So that is what yoga. The yogis are the one who
Yoni.
perfectly perform this yoga, which is connecting to the Supreme. There are different types of yoga. One is karma yoga. If we are connecting to the Supreme by performing all the activities, all our daily activities, then it is karma yoga. If you are performing, if you are achieving the Lord or attaining the Lord by thinking about all the jnana on the jnana marga, okay, then it is jnana yoga. Then if you are performing all the devotional activities and attaining to the Lord, then it becomes Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so the yogis abandoning attachment. Okay, they will abandon all the attachment and acts with the body. Though all the activity has to be done with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. They understood. Okay, this life been given for my purification. I have done something wrong, so for that to correct that, like, hey, I got this life, and let me purify myself by using all the mind, intelligence, and the body as well as senses. Okay, if we are able to do in this manner, then we can become a perfect yogi, and we can go to the spiritual world. As we see in the last sloka also, how that lotus leaf is untouched by the water. Though we are performing the activities in this material world, but since we are not attached to those things, and we are not like, okay, we are surrendering those results to the Lord, it would be considered as the devotional activity, not as a regular activity. Okay. The next sloka. युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिम् आप्नोति नैष्टिकम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते. This ayuktah we have seen in one another sloka. Can anyone say? Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, correct? In the second chapter we see the last one, one who is not steady in Krishna consciousness. The yuktaka means like, okay, we have to engage. Ayuktaka means like, the one who is not engaged. Okay, so that is what, one who is not in Krishna consciousness. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me, whereas the person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. So here he says, one who is steadily devoted, like, okay, he attains unadulterated peace. Okay, he will not, he will get all the peace, like a pure peace, because he offers the results through activity. So that steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union, like a one who is not connected to Krishna consciousness, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, like, okay, whatever he is doing, he wants to gain the fame, he wants to enjoy, like, okay, he wants to show off. Then he becomes entangled in this material world. He will take birth again and again. So with this, we will end today's topic. Okay. So what we are seeing from 7 to 12 is the performance of Nishkama Karma Yoga. How we can perform. We work, but with detachment. Okay. That is what this third, fourth, fifth, and sixth chapter. We see many things are like a repetitive, but it is needed, like it has been explained by Krishna. So please be little more attentive. Okay. So in the seventh verse we saw, like, a one who works in devotion, a pure soul working in devotion has controlled his mind.
मेरे को मैसेज का 63,000 दिखा रहा है.
He Hare Krishna. So he controls his mind, senses, and he will be controlling his mind and senses. He is dear to everyone. Okay. So he thinks that, okay, by performing the devotion service, by praying to Supreme Lord Krishna, everything else will follow. As how we are watering the root only, correct? We are not watering each leaves, each stem. No, we are not watering. By just watering the root, the whole tree gets nourished, correct? The similar way, while we are hungry, we are not feeding the food only for our stomach. We are not feeding the food only for our hand or eyes. Likewise, no, we are not feeding, correct? We are just consuming the food in the stomach, like the process gets fulfilled and the required energy being supplied to each and every body part. The similar way, if you are performing the devotion service, if you are praying to Krishna, all other demigods, all other living entity will be satisfied and will be happy. That is what we need to understand. Okay. So the realization has to be like, okay, we have to see all the living entities like, okay, are same as part and parcel of the Lord. And the actions, we have to control our mind and senses. The result would be like we will never get engaged, entangled in this material world. Okay, the eighth sloka, it is been mentioned like a person in divine consciousness, although he seems to be working in this material world, but there is a hell lot of difference. Like, okay, because he is not doing like, okay, as a material activity for his sense pleasure, he is doing it like, okay, for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, so that has to be understood. We have to understand like what are the how we can do that, because by connecting to Krishna with all our senses, by controlling the senses, mind and body. Okay, so in the 10th sloka, performing duty without attachment and surrendering results unto the Lord. If we are doing that, we will not get any sinful reaction, and as like the lotus leaf is untouched by the water. Okay, because by doing this, what is the realization? Okay, knows that everything belongs to Krishna only. We have to realize that action, we have to act without attachment and surrendering the results to Lord. By doing that, we will get the result of like a not occurring any sin, and we will not have to take rebirth in this material world. Verse 11, abandoning attachment or act with body and mind in intelligence and even with the senses only for the purpose of purification. Like we have to understand this life being given by Krishna for our purification, not for sense enjoyment, not to enjoy our material senses. Okay. So results is he will be getting the highest position of like being a Krishna consciousness devotee. How we have to do? We have to abandon all the attachment, and we have to think that okay, our body, mind, and intelligence being given like for our purification. Because again, like a realization has to be like everything belongs to Krishna. By doing that, like a devotee attains unadulterated peace, and non-devotees will be entangled. Like okay, if we are attaching to like okay our senses and our selfishness, then we will have to take birth in this material world. That punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam among the 84 lakh species. But if we are connecting to Krishna consciousness, then we can attain the supreme Lord, the supreme abode. Okay, so that is what the importance of like doing the devotional service. So here again, like a 7 to 12 sloka, how the connection been mentioned. Okay, how we have to act in the platform of jnana. That is what nishkama karma yoga. So we have to do all our activity by controlling our mind and senses, by thinking that okay, all these things being given for a purification purpose. So we have to do it perfectly by connecting to Krishna, by not having like a attachment and surrendering the results to the Lord. By doing that, we will not have to take rebirth in this material world, and we will not have any sinful reaction. So this is what this section ending. Any doubt, any feedback, any comments? Hare Krishna. If
No,
no,
Prabhu.
okay, Hare Krishna. Please, this is little dry topic. Please have it revised, and you read these slokas also, so that you will get the right right knowledge and understanding. Hare Krishna. Thanks all for joining. So if any prayers, like please put forth your prayer request, and please pass this message, this class details like to others, so that others also get benefited, because Krishna says in 18th chapter, one who pass my knowledge to others, they are very, very dear to me. We all know we want to be dear to Krishna, correct? So please pass this knowledge to others so that others may get benefited. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please take care of your health and have a wonderful weekend and upcoming week ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank
Krishna
you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Maji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
With all your permission, like let me end the class. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.